Hi, my name is Mike Barrett. I'm Head of AML Product at NICE Actimize.
Hi, my name is Adam McLaughlin. I'm EMEA Head of Financial Crime Solutions here at NICE Actimize. I think it's absolutely the latter. The criminals are leaving the industry behind, and at the moment the industry is not winning the war in financial crime. Why do I say that? It's estimated that around $2 trillion is illicit wealth, and that is laundered around the globe annually. Of that $2 trillion, we're identifying about 1% of that. 1% we're identifying annually. That is peanuts. So clearly something's not working. That 2 trillion is from crime, whether that's drugs, whether that's counterfeit goods, or whether that is human trafficking. All that crime is accumulating in that significant amounts of wealth which the criminals get their hands on, and they're buying luxury items and they're living the life of Riley. So something's not working, something needs to change, and I think the financial institutions have to deal with that and change something. But more so than that, it's the victims. The victims, I would say, are saying we're not winning the war. These are victims of human trafficking. These are people who are buying substandard goods which are dangerous, and also these are drug users who are buying their drugs from drug dealers and getting into a life of destitute. So something does have to change. Good question. So I think at the moment there's too many silos in the industry. So fraud, AML, KYC teams and other compliance teams all work generally in silos. They don't share information, they don't share data, they don't share intelligence, even within their own organisation. Also, a lot of organisations work to minimum standards. So there's regulations, and a lot of them will just comply with regulations. We have to go way beyond just comply with regulations and start looking at what the outcomes we're trying to achieve, how can we identify the criminals, and how can we identify and report these criminals to law enforcement agencies. The challenge is doing that within a cost-sensitive world. There isn't unlimited budgets anymore, so we have to look at costs and have to look at complying and going above compliance standards, but all within a cost-constrained world. Ultimately, we have to understand the customer, who they are, what they're doing, what's normal and what's not normal. If we can really understand the customer across the organisation, we can then work out who's criminal, who's not, what's potential money laundering and what's not, and report the appropriate offences to the authorities. All at the same time, we have to make sure that the legitimate customers aren't affected. So the legitimate customers have a good journey with the bank, they don't get affected by slow processes, they want to make a payment, they have to make a payment quickly and effectively. So we need to balance the various agendas that a bank needs to look at in this world of compliance.
So technology has a really important part to play in any AML modernisation programme, and there's a couple of themes that I'd like to very briefly discuss. So first of all, when it comes to AI and machine learning, this is a key theme, and in operational efficiency, which is the second key theme. So when it comes to AI and machine learning, there are three areas in which this is applied for the benefit of detecting suspicious behaviour. So first of all, we use it to ensure that customers' data is segmented as optimally as possible. So we use machine learning models to segment customer information and continually segment that customer information so that we're applying the right policy for those business segments. That's one key use of AI and machine learning. The second use of advanced technology is around the detection itself. So we use advanced techniques to ensure that we're detecting with more efficient standards than we've ever done before. And then the third use is around predicting the quality of the outputs that we've produced from the systematic detection. So this is about ensuring that we have automatic triage, so we can understand the importance based on previous user behaviour, based on the interactions that the investigators themselves have put in the system. We can predict whether particular alerts need to be raised to an escalation level or potentially degraded down to a hibernation level. So that's a really important use for machine learning within detection. And the second theme around operational efficiency, this is about presenting the right information at the right time to your investigators as your customers. So this has to happen very, very effectively and in real time. So we're presenting a full picture of the entities under suspicion, and we're presenting the networks, how entities are related to other entities. We're also enriching the information with content automatically outside of our system. So a bank needs to understand their customers in really fine detail, as Adam mentioned earlier. So we need to ensure that we're building that story. We're enriching the information that not only does the financial institution have, but also enriching it from information from external sources. So we're doing this, and we're looking at ensuring that from an operational efficiency perspective, we're able to deliver real-time insights. So from a KYC perspective, from an onboarding and continual monitoring, we're providing a real-time view of entity risk. And all of that builds for a full, accurate story on operational efficiency. So governance is critical and underpins any AML program that exists today. So not only do we have governance to ensure that we're recording and auditing all of the interactions that users have and policymakers have and business administrators have, that's obviously very critical, but we have to have a lot of governance around the specific technology that we have in play, much more than previously. So with the advent of machine learning technology comes a level of mystery around exactly how detection is happening now in AML systems. So it's really important that we have developmental governance, proof, transparency around how these models are working, how these models are actually detecting suspicious behaviour. So we play very open cards, we have very rich documentation, we explain exactly how these models have been developed, how they've been tuned, how they've been deployed on our customer systems, so we can prove to any customer's governance team or any regulator exactly how these models are operating.
Absolutely. I really do believe it will put pressure on the criminals, and I think we're at a junction now where we can have a shift in direction, and rather than the criminals winning, I think we're now going to start seeing a change, and we as the financial services industry will start winning the war, winning the fight against the criminals. And all the things that Mike mentioned earlier around AI, consolidated view of the customer, modernisation of the AML programme, I think that is the shift that we need, and that's the shift that's going to allow us to win this fight against the criminals. This shift will allow us to protect the organisation from the criminals. So this consolidated view, this holistic view of the customer, understanding intricately who the customer is, what they're doing, what's normal, what's not normal, will allow us to better understand who the criminals are, what the illicit wealth is, and will allow us to better file to the financial intelligence units with government agencies. One stat I've got is the UK FIU, so the government agency where the SARS filed to. Last year there's about 500,000 filings, SAR filings to the government agency. Of those, there was only 28 investigations started and only 40 arrests. That is not a lot. So I think this new approach where we can better understand the criminals, better understand who the criminals are, and do better reporting to the authorities will allow us to increase the quality of our SARs and increase the ability for law enforcement agencies to investigate, stop the criminals and repatriate funds. So that protection of the organisation from criminals, from allowing them to launder funds through the organisation, is one step. Secondly, this consolidated platform will allow the organisation to better govern itself, better comply with legislation, better comply with audit, and better comply with policies and procedures. So this centralised platform will allow them to understand end to end who's done what, how investigations have been performed. There'll be a full audit process, a full audit trail, so there's no what happened, when did it happen. It's all there, it's all in one place, and it allows better regulatory compliance for whoever's asking questions of the organisation. But at the same time, this consolidated platform will allow the organisation to empower the business to do better. So what I mean by that is we won't be a hindrance, compliance won't be a hindrance to the organisation. They can continue to grow, can continue to offer good services to their customers, and the customers won't be affected, the good guys anyway, won't be affected by compliance stopping their funds, stopping them from getting onboarded, and stopping them from having a really good experience within that financial services organisation. So absolutely, I think we will start winning this fight.
I think the empower piece is really crucial, because I really see AML systems for what we can bring to market right now to really support growth for businesses, to really allow the evolution and the agility that we need in an AML system, to change that mindset. So previously, I think AML systems have been somewhat prohibitive for business growth, and they create challenges for financial institutions to overcome when it comes to how they would expand, etc. But I think now it can be more of a promoter for business growth, and I think that's a mindset change that a modernised AML program really needs to deliver. It's a constant evolution. So here at NICE Actimize, we're market leaders in this particular space. We're working constantly with regulators, financial institutions, to stay ahead of the game and to really work constantly at closing that gap against the criminals.
Thank you, Mike. And if you'd like further information, you can contact one of the NICE Actimize team on info@niceactimize.com.